For the first time in a long time, buyers are seeing something that feels backwards. In some markets, the brand new home, the one with the warranty, the modern systems, and the builder incentives may actually cost less than the older resale homes down the street. And if you're buying in Tampa Bay right now, that matters because you're standing at a real fork in the road. On one side, you have new construction. On the other side, you have resale. So today, I'm putting new construction and resale head to head. We're gonna talk about the real builder incentive math, what resale still quietly wins on, and that simple framework I would use if I were sitting across the table from me trying to decide which one is actually the better buy. I'm Tamily Abdo, local Florida real estate agent at eXp, and I sit on both sides of this every week. So let's start with the number that is flipping this whole conversation upside down. Here's the headline. In the first quarter of 2026, the median price of a new single family home in the country was $403,200. The median existing home was $404,600. So the new home was about $1,400 less expensive. This is not how the market usually works. Historically, a new home usually carries a premium. Buyers paid more for the warranty, the newer systems, the modern floor plan, and the fact that nobody else has lived there. But that premium has shifted, and this was not just one-time thing. It was the fourth quarter in a row where existing homes were priced higher than new homes. So why is this happening? Two big reasons. One, builders have inventory, and when builders have inventory, they use incentives to earn your business. Two, a lot of new construction is happening in the outer parts of the market, places like parts of Pasco, Manatee, Polk, Hernando, and Outer Hillsborough, where land can be more affordable than the closer in neighborhoods that pull the new home median price down. And here in Tampa Bay, this matters because our region has a lot of new construction activity. Production builders closed roughly 21,000 homes last year across the broader Tampa Bay region. That's a lot of supply, and supply creates leverage for buyers. So the real question becomes, how do you actually use that leverage? That's where the builder incentives come in. Quick thing before we keep going. My team has showed me some numbers this week that surprised me. Most of the people watching these videos are not subscribed yet. And listen, I know how YouTube works. Sometimes you think you're subscribed and sometimes you're not. Sometimes YouTube does its own thing. So please, just do me a favor, look at the button under this video. If it says subscribe, then you're good, and a heartfelt thank you, please. And if it says subscribe, please tap it. Every week, I'm breaking down the real numbers behind buying and selling in Tampa Bay, the incentives, the negotiating strategy, the payment shifts, and the things that actually impact your decision. Let's talk about the $50,000 question. When people hear builder incentive, they usually think a free refrigerator, a washer dryer, or maybe some blinds. But right now, it is much bigger than that. Some builders are advertising incentive packages that can be worth thousands of dollars, and the most powerful place they can use that money is usually in your interest rate. That's called a mortgage rate buy down. Now, quick disclaimer, because this matters. Remember, I am a real estate professional, not a mortgage lender. So these examples are really just to help you compare scenarios. You always want to confirm your specific rate, payment, and loan option with a licensed lender. So here's why a buy down can be so powerful. Let's say a regular 30-year rate is sitting somewhere around 6.5% on a $360,000 loan. The principal and interest payment may be somewhere around $2,275 a month. Now let's say a builder is offering a rate in the high fours through their preferred or in-house lender. If that rate is 4.9%, that same loan may drop closer to $1,930 a month. And that is roughly $345 a month back in your pocket. every single month. And for a lot of buyers, that's not a small thing. That can be the difference between the home feeling tight and a home feeling comfortable. But here's where I want you to slow down, because not all incentives are created equal. There are two different types of rate buy downs. There's a permanent buy down, which lowers the rate for the life of the loan, and this is usually the stronger option. And then there's a temporary buy down, like a 2-1 buy down, and that only lowers the payment for the first year or two. After that, the payment does go up. So the questions you always want to ask is this rate permanent? What loan program is it attached to? What do I have to do to qualify for it? And what is my payment after the incentive ends? And is it temporary? Because the same incentive package can be real opportunity, or it can sound better than it actually is. And that is why the math matters. If you do not need the rate help, sometimes builders may be able to shift that incentive towards closing costs, designer options, or even price depending on the builder, the home, and the mortgage type. There are limits to how much a seller, a builder, or other interested party can contribute towards your costs, and those limits depend on your loan type, your down payment, and your specific loan guidelines. On an FHA loan, seller contributions are generally capped at about 6%. On a conventional loan, the cap depends on your down payment. So if you're putting less than 10% down, it's generally up to 3%. If you're putting 10 to 25% down, it generally goes up to 6%. And if you're putting more than 25% down on a primary residence or second home, it may go up to 9%. On a VA loan, this is where people get confused. The VA allows sellers or builders to pay certain closing costs, but the seller concessions are generally capped at 4% of the home's value, reasonable value. And a USDA loan are generally up to 6%. The big picture is this: you cannot just stack unlimited credits forever. So before you negotiate, you want to know your cap, because if the builder says that they're going to give you $50,000 or a resale seller says they're willing to give you a large credit, you need to know how much of that you can actually use. Otherwise, you may think you negotiated something amazing, but then your loan guidelines may not allow you to capture it all. This is why the lender, the agent, and the contract strategy all need to line up. Okay, so I have made a new construction sound pretty attractive. Now let me make the honest case for resale, because a lot of Tampa Bay buyers, resale can still be the smarter buy, and here is why. Number one, location and lot. A lot of new construction is happening farther out because that's where the land is. And that can be great if you want newer communities, newer amenities, newer homes. But resale homes are often in neighborhoods that are already established, closer into the city, and larger lots, mature landscaping, existing roads, existing shopping, existing routines. So if you're not wanting to wait for the neighborhood to become something, you can see what it already is. Number two, you can inspect what you're buying. With resale, you walk the actual home, you inspect the actual roof, the actual AC, the actual plumbing, and the actual windows, the actual condition of the home. With a to-be-built home, you may be buying a floor plan, a lot, a rendering, and a promise. However, when you're working with a really good agent, they will recommend inspections throughout the build, and if they can negotiate that on your behalf, then you've struck gold with who represents you. This only gives you more certainty today. Number three, timing. With resale, you can usually close and move in faster. With new construction, your timing depends on whether it's a move-in ready spec home or a home that still needs to be built. And build times can shift depending on the county, how long permits come in and take place, and also the builder with their build time. Timing matters. Number four, negotiation. Builders usually protect their base price because those prices affect the rest of the community and the future comps. So they may be more willing to likely negotiate through incentives instead of dropping the sticker price. Private seller is different. Depending on the property, the condition, the days on market, and the competition around them, you may be able to negotiate the actual purchase price down. And a lower purchase price can impact more than just the loan. Now, The trade-off is this: with resale, you may be taking on older systems, possible repairs, maybe a roof, AC, water heater that may need attention sooner. This is the resale reality. So neither one is really perfect. The question is not which one is better. The question really depends which one is better for you. So if this head-to-head is helping, tap subscribe. It's free and it helps the next Tampa Bay buyer find information before they start signing contracts or walking into model homes without a plan. So here is the decision framework. Forget trying to pick which one is better. Ask yourself these 4 questions. What is your timeline? Do you need to move within 60 days? Then you're probably looking at resale or a move-in ready spec home. Do you have 6 months to 12 months of flexibility? Then a to-be-built home may be on the table. Question number 2. Do you need a rate relief or a lower price? If a rate buy down changes whether the payment works for you, new construction may be hard to beat. But if you care more about lowering the actual purchase price, lowering the loan amount, and potentially lowering the long-term cost, resale negotiation may win. Next question. How much do you care about location versus newness? If you want an established in a closer, larger lot, mature neighborhood, resale may be the better fit. If you want newer systems, builder warranty, modern floor plan, and less near-term maintenance, new construction may be the better fit. So, how much cash and patience do you have? With new construction, we may ask for deposits, design money, or upgrade decisions upfront depending on the builder and the stage of construction, but it may also give you several years before major repairs. Resale may give you more room to negotiate up front, but you may need to budget for maintenance sooner. So know yourself, know your cash, know your patience, and know what kind of a buyer you are before you fall in love with a model home or a staged resale home. Because when you run those 4 questions honestly, the decision gets a lot clearer. Now let me ask the 3 questions I get all the time first. Are builder incentives only on the homes nobody wants? Not necessarily. So the strongest incentives are often standing on inventory, existing inventory with new construction, and a lot of the times it means spec homes that are already built or almost finished. And that can actually be a great opportunity. You can see the home, you can walk the lot, you can understand the view, the finishes, the layout, the driveway, the light, the location in the community, and because the builder wants to move that inventory, they may be where the strongest incentives are. But you still need to confirm what the incentive actually is, whether the rate is permanent or temporary, and what conditions are attached to it. Second, can I use my own agent on a new construction, or do I have to use the builder's representative? You can absolutely bring your own agent, and I strongly recommend it. The builder's representative represents the builder, and you need an agent that represents you and is looking out for your best interests. And in many new construction transactions, the builder may compensate your agent when you are properly registered, but that needs to be confirmed before you move forward. The biggest thing is this: bring your agent before your first visit, before you register online, and before you sign anything. Third, is resale risky right now if prices are softening? So with this question, not if you buy the right home at the right number. Softening prices can actually be your opportunity, but this is where the comps matter. You need to know what has sold, what's pending, and what is sitting, what has been reduced, and the condition of the home that actually supports it. So this is why you do not need to buy resale on emotion alone. You buy it with inspection, honest comps, and a real understanding of what the home may need after closing. So here's the move. Don't pick a new construction or resale based on feeling. Do not pick it based on the prettiest model or the biggest advertised incentive, and don't pick it because somebody told you resale is always the better deal. Run the 4 questions, get the real incentive math on the new construction, Find out what the rate is and if it's permanent, and understand what lender or loan product it's tied to. Then compare that against resale comps, inspection risks, location, taxes, insurance, and the actual all-in payment. This is how you know which one is really the better deal. And if you're thinking about walking into a builder model this weekend, bring me in before you sign anything, and ideally before your first visit. The builder's representative represents the builder. Your agent represents you. I'm Tamily Abdo, local real estate agent here in the Tampa Bay area with eXp, and if this helped you think differently about new construction versus resale in Tampa Bay, subscribe so the next one finds you. And if you want a side-by-side comparison for homes you're actually considering, call or text us, and I'll see you next Thursday.